touched upon it a little bit earlier, but especially in today's environment, right? We know what's going on across all the country, across all of the departments,
The
right?
world.
Including the world, right? But there is still something there that says, I'll continue to be dedicated, and I'm going to stick to what I'm doing now. Number one, the hat he had on, he had to turn it around, right? The teams that he likes.
I agree with that team.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah,
That's
tape
good.
that,
We're
tape
good.
that.
That's all right. That's all right.
Just turn that white into orange. We'll be good. We'll be good. What is the most rewarding part of this job, Pedro? Like,
For me,
what makes you wake up in the morning and get back to work every single day?
for me, what it was actually, again, sounds like a cliche, but when the kids see someone like me, I wear my fitteds, I wear my Jordans, I wear my polo, I'll have a nice watch on, and I would walk in and they'd be like, "You the police?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm a regular dude."
Yo. Welcome to the United Podcast Show. I'm your host, Ray. I'm very excited about today's session. We have a very special guest, but we'll get to that person in a minute. I'll go around and introduce the normal panel. I'll start with my boy, Charlie T. Charlie, why don't you say something to the people?
Yo, my family. I'm just so glad to be here, and just, man, we got such an exciting show today, and I'm just happy to be here. Let's get it, Ray.
All right. Let's move it on to my boy, Eddie O, the chef, the cook. Go on, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that introduction. I'm very excited as we have like you said, we have a special speaker today. I just want to jump into it, but thank you for that introduction, my brother.
Last but not least, from the panel, our boy Manny Fresh. Manny, well, go ahead and say something to the people.
Always ready to talk to the people, man. We appreciate you guys looking at this show. I'm ready to rock. This gentleman is a good friend of mine, and I can't wait to do the interview. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Let's get to the man of the hour. This man we've known, all of us. He's a very good friend of us, a very outstanding person within the community. Tremendous job, tremendous dedication to what he's done so far. He's been in this. He's been part of the NYPD for the last 20 years as a sergeant. He'll go above and he'll go above the call of duty with some of the humanitarian work that he did down in Puerto Rico, which we'll find out. This guy is, like we said, an outstanding friend, father, and again, an outstanding dude within the community. I will add this, however. There's certain part where I don't agree with this gentleman right here. Number one, the hat he had on, he had to turn it around, right? The teams that he likes.
I agree with that team.
That's all right.
Yeah,
That's
tape
good.
that,
We're
tape
good.
that.
That's all right.
Just turn that white into orange. We'll be good. All right. Okay. So, in all seriousness, I would like to introduce our friend, our good buddy, Pedro. Pedro, please introduce yourself.
How's everyone doing? My name is Pedro. All the guys here are like my family. I'm honored that they even wanted to have me on the show, and at the same time, very excited about it. Thank you guys for having me.
Welcome, my brother.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
You sure you don't want to change the hat? You want to keep it on all the time? All right.
Come on, look.
All right, so let's just kick it off with the first question that I have for you, Pedro.
Yes, sir.
So, the question I have is very direct. So, what led you into choosing the line of work you have today?
Well, believe it or not, I know people always say it's cliche-ish. They say it was a calling. I was attempted to go to the U.S. Marshals when I was a sophomore in Syracuse University. So I'm sophomore year. I started looking into it. I started applying. Very hard to get in. That's a lot of red tape and stuff. So, you know, I put it on the side. Finished Syracuse, got my degree, started working at Hertz. It wasn't, you know, it was just a business. It wasn't like satisfying to me. So one day while I'm at Hertz, one of my coworkers says, hey, everyone calls me, Pete. Yo, Pete, can you drive me to DCAS? I'm taking the test for the NYPD. I was like, for real? He's like, yeah. He goes, come down, hang out with me, and then, you know, come back. And I said, you know what? If I'm going to drive you, I'm going to take the test too. Why not? I'm already there. That's how it went down. I took the test. I continued working in Hertz. And then like 2 weeks before, it's called a list number. It's like your test number before it expires. They call me. They're like, hey, you interested? And I said, you know what? I don't like the direction my life is going here at Hertz. I'm not happy. I feel like I'm missing something. And that's it. I went in the class of 9/11. And then 9/11 happened while we were there. So
oh, wow, 9/11.
Yeah, I worked at 9/11 too. I worked down there for 3 months.
Wow.
We were down there working at Ground Zero. I did, first we did like, you know, manual labor. And then since they saw I had a degree, they put me to do, oh gosh, what was it? Logistics. I was doing the logistics.
Oh, wow.
Handling all the equipment coming in, shoes, donations. But I was boots on the ground for almost 2 months before I went to logistics. Wow. That was a crazy time. 9/11 was insane.
Yeah, I can remember 9/11.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I was in the building, but that's for another conversation, for sure. All right, so great for that. So, Manny, do you have a question? You want to make sure that,
I mean, as long as, thank you. As long as I know Pedro, I didn't know that part, Pedro. I first of all, I commend you for doing that, right? Considering all the risk and everything that, you know, with the environment and all the hazardous chemicals in the air and all that stuff. I respect that, dude.
We didn't know though at that time, Manny. We didn't have no clue. We just went down there to do a job. They wouldn't get a mask or anything. I go twice a year to get screened at NYU. I do everything: lung tests, blood tests, everything, nasal, all that. Knock on wood, the Lord has been good to me. I have nothing.
Good, man. I personally know a lieutenant that is a very close friend of mine, and he like when he speaks about it, like you get chills, man. And that's the perspective that I have on it, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was a crazy time.
But I'm sorry, Ray. So I want to ask you, what is the difference between when you first started in today's times? What would you say is the biggest difference anyway? I know there's a lot of differences, but.
Well, I think the biggest difference when I first started, remember I started class at 9/11. So automatically when we graduated, we were the class of 9/11. Like everyone loved, at that point in time, police, first responders could do no wrong. We were like, we were the cop, everyone loved. They wanted to see us respond to them, whatever. Today's climate is much different, much different, especially after that disgusting happened. We're not going to go into it, everyone knows what I'm referring to. That issue in another state. The problem when something like that happens is we're all bunched in. They don't see the individual, they see the uniform and you're judged and that's it. Right now for the guys on the street, it's really, really hard because everything is stacked against them. So it's very hard. You know, I commend those they're kids. I commend the young kids, 20 years old, 22 years old out there trying to do this. I commend them. I'm blessed at the spot I'm in, but to be in the street now would be very tough for me.
I understand.
And you know what? I think it just makes it hard for, you know, all the good police officers out there too that are doing good, are doing their jobs, doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then when you get the few bad ones, it only takes those few bad ones to, you know, kind of tweak everything and make everyone look.
Doesn't matter. You
Yes,
climb
sir.
all the way up, you get knocked right back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So
Can I do a follow-up question, Ray, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Oh, absolutely.
So what would be an advice that you would give someone that's looking to get into the force right now?
Honestly, I would recommend someone in my family to go into this line of work at this point in time.
I respect.
If they were adamant about doing something like this, there's many other venues I would do, like Port Authority. I would do maybe Metro Police, anything. But NYPD right now, it's tough, man. With all those laws they're stacking against us, with the bail reform, where some attack a cop, he'll be home before the cop is home processing the paperwork. Everything's no bail. So for a young kid to take on this endeavor now, I mean, if it's any of my family members, I would try to talk to them about You know,
I appreciate and respect that transparency. Thank you.
and that's sad in my part because I love doing what I did. I never
And
had.
listen,
I never had.
you're
problems.
speaking from the heart, man.
Yeah, I never had issues. I was in a gun unit for almost 13 years. Didn't have any complaints against me. I did plain clothes, the gun unit for 13 years. I worked in the detective squad. Never had any complaints against me.
And listen, that's the most honest answer, especially coming from NYPD himself. You know what I mean? That you could ever hear. Yep. You know what I mean? That's big right there. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to share a conversation I had with Pedro. At least I thought I was part of the conversation. I know you were talking. I was listening. So we were talking. This is when it was over a barbecue grill, and and we were not over the barbecue, but barbecue. Sorry.
We were grilling.
So it was around how you would approaching the situation, right? Like how you would give an example of how you were diffusing the situation, how you would like talk to, and you knew how to talk to whoever was either on the wrong side or whatever at that time. And I think that's why you were recognized as one of the very few outstanding, in your line of work at that time. Because do you want to go over that conversation? Because again,
what it is people don't realize we're all human, right? So when I approach an individual, say, okay, this guy, they said he's selling narcotics. I arrest him for selling narcotics. I'm not judging him because if that's what I used to tell him all the time, if this is what you feel you have to do to provide for your family, you have to do it. If that's you feel like this is the only source of income, this is all you can do, I'm not going to knock you for it. I'm not going to judge you for it. But in the same token, this is what I chose to do, provide for my family. So don't judge me. And, this is what is part of the game. You got to deal with it. If you're going to hustle or you're going to commit crimes, you always the chance of getting caught doing those things. So, but I never had an issue with like speaking to someone for no reason indirectly or in second person, like they were working. Never that serious,
Pedro,
I did it and that's it.
Yeah, but it seems to me, and this is another, like Ray says, another conversation, but real quick, it seems to me like people like yourself, when they're genuine and sincere, and I get that from my cousin Eddie, who's on the panel, obviously. I know him, obviously, personally, and he was always like a straight up person. Like when he would run the PAL, he did it for many years, and they saw the realness in him. And I can see where that's you also, right? Respectfully. There's a difference. And I think a lot of the issues is because of that, right? If you speak to someone straightforward and real instead of robotic, I think a lot of the times that kind of.
Of course. You have to.
Yeah, that's right.
They're people. That's it. I mean, some of the crimes people commit, I didn't handle like crazy stuff like that. So those, there's some crimes that they can't.
Oh, yeah, of course.
The things that they've done. But when you're dealing with someone selling narcotics or, even guys with gun possession, I have over 300 arrests. Out of those 300, I think like 280 are all felonies. And I would say I was involved in over 400 gun incidents. And all those guys, these guys were like, bad dudes, guys from East Flatbush, from Brownsville, from shooting at everybody every day. And when they would see after I locked them up, if they went up north and came back, and they'd be like, yo, what's up, Blue? You good? How's everything? Like, never know, I hate that mother. Never anything like that. It was always because I didn't disrespect them,
So they respected the street code, per se.
Of course. And, they knew how I came toward them. I was never like this. I never cursed at them. I never disrespected
That's it.
them. I told them, if I jumped out on a bunch of Bloods and Crips, I wouldn't even talk to the young kids because they the ones who caused all the commotion. I would say, okay, that's the OG. Let me speak to you real quick. Listen, the corner's hot. I'm here to let you know, just have the kids chill out. You could have your barbecue, but, maintain. Wow. And they would say, no problem. We're good, officer. I see you later. And they would even offer you want a burger? So I said, no, I'm good. Have a great day. That's what you got to do.
That's huge, man. That's a milestone. And I think
big.
that approach right there, I wouldn't say it would kind of just, eliminate everything that we're going through, but that's huge, man.
You spoke to him like you wanted to be spoke to, like a human being. You know what I mean? So you treated him with respect. It was respect.
Of course, respect, especially with these guys.
Keyword.
Respect is all they care about. I'm not going to disrespect them for no reason.
You
I
know what,
want to bring
man?
Eddie. I want to bring Eddie here because I can see you have a question brewing. I can see it. Come on out. Come on
Get
in.
ready,
Come
get
on
ready,
in.
Pedro.
Jump in.
man,
Jump in.
let me just say, man, I'm extremely humbled by this brother, man, because you know what? There's a lot of stereotypes about police officers, about a lot of different types of professions, right? There's a lot of good and bad in every profession, right? But this is a brother here that never lost his heart and never lost where he came from and understands where he is. He chose a profession to, you know, to better his family, and to help out, right? To the true meaning of what it is to be an officer and protect and serve, you know. And there's many people out there like this, you know. And unfortunately, there's some people that are, you know, the cameras catch and things do happen. But I just want to say I'm extremely humbled, and I know you've gone up in the ranks. I mean, just for you to start off in 9/11, you know, you're heaven sent. And I know we're eventually in the show, we're going to talk about how you helped out in Maria, but you know, with the hurricane, and you just went from catastrophe to catastrophe. I mean, this is history in the making, and you're part of it. So I definitely want to start off by just saying that. I've always said that, you know, communication is key no matter what you do and who you are. I mean, you can talk to a person who's in the corner. You can talk to a CEO of a company. Communication is key. Absolutely. At the end of the day, what we do, we try to figure people out so like that we can have a good rapport with the people. But it's nice to hear this, you know what I'm saying? And it's good for all those, you know, for all our subscribers, pay attention because there's real people out there that do the real work, you know what I'm saying? Let's not let the media just, you know, take our minds and
coerce it, yeah.
And coerce, you know, what the truth is, because at the end of the day, there's a lot more Pedros and you know, Pete than there are whatever the media is trying to portray. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But again, man, I just want to say I'm humbled by you and your presence here, my brother. So I appreciate you a lot, man.
Thank you so much.
Okay, great. So one of the other questions, I think you answered it, but we're going to ask. We're just going to pose it, right? So it's around, you know, what is the most rewarding part of this job, Pedro? Like,
for me,
what makes you wake up in the morning and get back to work every single day?
For me, what it was actually, again, sounds like a cliche, but when the kids see someone like me, I wear my fitteds, I wear my Jordans, I wear my polo, I'll have a nice watch on, and I would walk in and they'd be like, "You the police?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm a regular dude."
That's right.
You expect me to have on khakis and a button-down shirt and moccasins? This is me. So when the young kids like that would see, they'd be like, and I knew everyone. This is more in the neighborhood than while working, because I grew up in Brooklyn, and I was in the projects every day with all my friends were from the projects. I was in Harlem all the time on Claremont Avenue with all my friends too. I was all over the place, Chelsea. So when I would go back and I would see those kids, they'd be like, "This is the police, dressing like that, looking fly and hanging out and joking," and they would let them see that. And I said, "Yeah, you guys could do this. You know, there's no stigma on it. Look at all my boys I'm with that you're with. They don't judge me. I'm a police officer." And, you know, I think it was like 2 or 3 kids joined the force because of me, and that made it work.
Wow.
Yeah.
See,
I have these kids from the street who didn't think, like, maybe had thought about it, but didn't think they should do it because of the stigma against it. And then when they met me and they saw how cool and how I hung out with all the, like, I'm a regular, they don't see police as regular people.
exactly. I think this needs to be said.
That's what it is. They don't see you as regular people. And when they realize, oh man, he's just a regular dude, he's cool. It opens their eyes.
Because I mean, I think you broke the normal the vision of a police officer is just like you said, like, you know, somebody that's not part from that neighborhood, that doesn't talk the talk, that's not familiar with the surrounding, how things are going. But when they see that, so now this is one thing I want to highlight, right? They saw you there, right? You know, they recognize you as one of them, but I think they also associated that you are also a protector of them, right? Like you're not going to be like a complete stranger to the situation. They could come to you. They could confide in you. Right? So they saw you as, when they saw how you portrayed, or you know, how you were dressed up and everything else, they're like, you know what? I'm going to paraphrase. This is a cool dude. I can be like him and I could talk to him. Right? So you really integrated in my mind, right? How really, what it really means to protect and serve, honestly, by just that little thing that you did, right? Because who else listen, somebody that doesn't look like me, who doesn't talk like me, to come in and protect me, I would have some questions. Like, is he really, no, I'll question his capabilities in terms of knowing whatever genre, whatever the talk is, but you did it the right way.
Yeah.
You did it the right way.
And
right?
also too, you're the only judgment you're passing on them is by their actions, not of who they are, or the type of person, just their action.
Doesn't matter who they,
just their action. It's like just what they're doing at that moment, because you know what's wrong, they know what's wrong, but they just got caught.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's the only reason why you're there, and you're only judging. You're not judging, like I said, as who they are, because you really don't know who they are. Just it's just the actions that it's just their actions. Yes, sir. Yep.
Yep.
So I want to continue the conversation, and this is where we're going to talk about, the fact that you sounds like you've always gone above and beyond. And the next set of questions and topic that we're going to talk about is just a prime example of your unselfishness and action in basically going to an area that was devastated by this natural disaster, and you said to yourself, what you saw wasn't by your standards. You felt like things were not being done, and there's more to be done. And again, you took some time off from work. I don't think this was being paid when you did that.
My own vacation to go
exactly. Over there. So let me just stop and you go ahead and just explain exactly what you did, because if you remember the conversation you and I had, I wanted to be part of that.
Yeah. So basically, after Maria, they did send a contingent from the NYPD, but there's only a special unit that always goes. And I was like, I can't sit back and see my homeland ravaged without going firsthand and seeing if I could do something. And besides the fact my uncle lives out there in one of the hardest hit towns, my brother lives out there, and I have a lot of family out there. So a few of us went. JetBlue was kind enough to pay for our flights.
Wow.
They gave us the free flights, which was great. But we went on our own dime. We used our vacation days. We spent our own money for everything we needed. And I have a house over there, so I had the guy stay with me at my house. I was blessed enough. I don't even ask me how, to have running water and electricity in my house. I don't know how, but I was blessed to have that. I couldn't believe it.
So if I may, so let me just put things into context so people can understand exactly what you faced with, right?
Yeah.
So Maria hit in September 20th, 2017.
Yes.
It was ranked as one of the worst hurricane in over 80 years to hit that region, right? It was a category 4 or 5. It was purely devastating, right? Since then, there were 130,000 people that left home, basically left, they're like, you know what? Nothing can be done, and they left, right?
Wow.
It is projected for the population of Puerto Rico to drop down by 8% in 2024, right?
Ooh.
So the effects are still being,
felt
right now. Okay, so I wanted to put that into context and to realize that no, this was not a small task that you were going to go, right? So please, I just wanted to add that in there.
Sure. So we went out there, and it was like a total shock as to how could this little island be part of the U.S. and be abandoned the way it was. I mean, there was nothing there. This is a quick story. I go to help out in my hometown, which is Aguadilla and Cabo Rojo. Those are my two hometowns, my mother and father's towns. So I go to, there's a little coliseum in Aguadilla. They say, okay, you have to go see this woman. She's in charge of all the water and the supplies. No problem. I go see the woman. She gives me a list. She goes, these are the people. I say, okay, I thought this was a list. Like, I had no idea what it was. It's a list. So I look at the list, and it's people's names on it. So I'm like, oh my God, is this people like who are really sick? She goes, no, those are our constituents. Those are the ones who voted for the mayor of Aguadilla. You got to give these people water. I said, but wait a minute. What about the other 100, 200, 300 people who passed on the day? I'm not to give, we don't care about them. These people get the water first.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't believe that. That shocked me. You know what I told her, by the way. You know what happened to that lady. That was a conversation we had with her. And then I ended up saying, you know what, this is disgusting. I drove to the FEMA headquarters in Puerto Rico. I spoke to the director of FEMA on site. I gave him the woman's name, and he gave me a letter which allowed me to get water from anywhere a FEMA station was located.
Nice.
I was able to get water from the Aguadilla airport. Before I was driving all the way to San Juan to Aguadilla. That's about a 2.5 hour drive. We did that 10 times in one day. To fill back 10 times we did. We filled up the truck tank 3 times. And we dropped off water to whoever we came across. No judgment. I don't care who you are. You're thirsty. Here's a case. Here's a case. We did it that way. And when I got that letter, I went to the airport and they were like, how did you get this letter? I was like, listen, I spoke to this gentleman. It was like, nobody ever gets this letter. We don't know what you told him. I said, listen, I was just honest. I need to help. And me driving 2 hours every day is not going to help me help more people. So he gave me that letter and we distributed, I think the final number was 6,000 or 7,000 cases of water.
That's outstanding.
Wow.
It was no joke.
Wow, that's what's up.
Can we all just take a break and just give this guy?
Yeah. Nah, that's what's up. Because the average person wouldn't. They would have just followed that first list. They would have just followed that first list, took care of the mayor and all that, and left it. You went above and beyond, and you went like, hold on. You went straight to the source. Yeah. Exactly. And it was like, what you should. I mean, which that was a great job. Like, the people should come first versus the mayor, and they should be the last people asking or demanding that they get some first over the people, which is paying their salary. You know what I mean? Paying their taxes and doing all that. So, man, that's great stuff.
And who elected them?
Who elected them, right?
The problem with Puerto Rico is every little town has a mayor.
Right.
You know, it's like San Juan has a mayor. Mayagüez has a mayor. So there's about 7,000 mayors. So the town only cares about that one mayor. They don't care. It's not like here in New York. Like, it would be as if Brooklyn, Queens, everybody had their own mayor. That's how it is.
Wow.
That's why they only care about the people in their region.
Got it.
Because they the only ones who benefit them.
Right. But still, even though it's like they should take care of the people first, and then no matter how many mayors it is, you know what I mean? It should be take care of your small town or wherever you, and then the mayor, senator, or whoever gets their water last.
Yep. It's crazy.
Again, just got to commend you, Pedro, for
that's
just
what's up, man.
Taking it by the horn and just like not even take. So basically, you took no for an answer. You didn't take no for an answer. Right?
Right.
Absolutely not.
Right. But it's like you said in the beginning. We got a guest today. He's a real brother, and this is what the little things, right?
That's right.
You said it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that.
Okay, so I mean, this is a great conversation. I mean, I remember, Pedro, thank you for sharing that. I remember when you and I, when you were sharing this, guys, when he was telling me the story, right? I was feeling like I felt like I wasn't doing much, right?
Right.
Because I was taken by the action that he was doing. Like, okay, I need to do more, and I really I offered my help, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. But that doesn't mean any future. It just so you know, any future events that you want to have, right? We are all there to provide help, right?
Yes,
you could count on us.
Mm-hmm.
United.
We made that commitment to make sure that we're gonna give back, because at the end of the day, it's all about the example that you're showing is give back to your community, right? Because you take care of your community, they'll take care of you. That's a fact.
That's right.
Right. All right. So listen, great conversation. So the next question we do have here, and if you have any questions for us, Pedro, please, by all means, you can ask me.
I was about to say that too. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Like you can ask me, where I'm coming from. So just as a. All right, we go to okay. So let's get back on track. So, and this is more of a more contemporary question, right? Yeah. Because we don't want to leave anything out off the table, right? So, so this, it's going to draw back to some of your core characteristics, right? So what are some of the strengths that encourage you have, right, to continue in your line of work and to protect and serve, especially, and you touched upon it a little bit earlier, but especially in today's environment, right? We know what's going on across all the country, across all of the departments, right?
The world.
Including the world, right? But there is still something there that says, I'll continue to be dedicated, and I'm going to stick to what I'm doing now, right?
Yep. I think I owe it more now than ever because of what's happening. Now is the time to see real, officers out there being, how could I put it? Understanding the plight these people are going through, understanding why they are protesting. I understand, and you have a right to be heard. What happened over there was something disgusting, and you have every right, and they should be changed. But like I tell the people when I did a few protest details, they were yelling at me, screaming, they were screaming, "Oh, you racist, you this, you that, quit, you should quit. You're working for a slave master." And I told them, they were saying, "You're racist, you're racist." I said, "Actually, you guys are racist. You're judging me on this blue uniform. Do you know me as a person? Have you ever had a conversation with me about anything that may have been bothering you?
Right.
Did we ever speak? Did I ever physically or personally did anything to you? Not one thing. You're judging me just on this uniform I have on." And that was hurtful because I know what I do on a daily basis. I know I'm going out there above and beyond. Mm-hmm. I'm putting myself in dangerous situations. When they're shooting, I'm running toward where they're shooting. I'm not running away like everyone else. I'm going head first into there to find out what's going on, to render aid if I need to render aid. So when, someone judges you just how, based upon your uniform, your appearance, it's hard. It's hard to do your job, but you have to do it. You have to break that frame of mind of thinking and let them know, hey, you know what, this guy is a cop, but speaking to him, we could see. And that's what happened. There was a bike rally in Barclays, 5,000 motorcycles. And I would walk, there was the lines. I walked right into the bike rally, taking pictures, talking to the guys. I was like, oh, that's nice. And they were like first they were taking them back. And then it was just a regular conversation. Like, oh, you don't ride? I said, yeah, I used to ride, not anymore. But it was a great regular conversation. After that, I gave them £1 and I walked off like nothing. And they realized like, oh man, all these guys are on bad. And we all shouldn't judge them just on this uniform.
Right.
And that's the thing though. It's like, because they all have to know that all cops aren't bad.
36,000, Chuck.
They're all not bad. It's like it only takes one to corrupt the whole force. Yep. And so it's like, yeah, man, it's like that, right. And it's not right though. It's not right because it puts Pedro in danger because he is one of the good ones. He is the ones that's out in the communities talking to him and going, listen, I'm one of you. It's like, this is where I grew up. Look, you see how I got my Yankee hat fitted and I'm out here, but I'm doing my job. And that's all I'm doing. And I'm making sure I'm serving and I'm protecting, making sure you're safe. And it's just, he's given a respect that, he wants back. So,
yeah. Can I interject for a second? So I'm a strong believer in children are born with a blank slate, and whatever it is that they become, that's who they are based on what might have influenced them, whether it was society, their parents, education, schools, who are their friends, their circle, their environment where they live. And I think Manny mentioned earlier that I used to work in a PAL site for years. Yeah. And I'm still in the education, right? I've been working with children for about 35 plus years. And I realized for that. Thank you, Brett. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sir. And the blessing of that job is the fact that you can influence children and give them a way and mold their minds in a positive way.
Absolutely.
Right? And it could go another way, right? And I think one of the powerful departments that the NYPD or not the NYPD, just the police department in general, because I know it happens in different cities, is the outreach that they have with the community.
Yeah.
Whether it's the youth, whether you have youth officers, they have interaction with the community. I remember back in the days, people were a little bit more in tune with the cops because you would see the same cops. You walk in the beats and you would see, and it felt like, no. If anything, it was a different kind of ball game.
So I guess
my question to you is, what are your thoughts about the police department working more with the community as opposed to just walking a beat and the cops never see them in any other, like, for example, like yourself, like you say, all you see is a uniform, but you don't see the human in me. Do you think it would be effective if maybe the police department would have maybe officers maybe work, 2 days, let's say, for example, with the community in some type of outreach center, a rec center, whether it's a park department, maybe another 3 days or whatever the schedule can be. But do you think that maybe more outreach would be effective in order to kind of help what's going on now? Because the people that are protesting, their minds are already formed the way they're formed. So it's almost like we can work with the youth. So like that in times, in the future, this can help kind of solve our, the problems that we're facing today. Do you think that the cops, that the police department can invest a little bit more in this type of field, this type of work?
I think right now it's such a bad time that it doesn't, like, there's nothing we can do right now but try to stay safe. The other day in the Bronx, they jumped a cop. I don't know if you guys saw the video.
Yeah,
The headlock, and everything is F you, F you. There's no respect whatsoever for the uniform or for the police department at this time. Do you realize from June 26th through July 11th, there was 117 shooting incidents with 86 victims.
Yes.
Wow.
That's insane. Those numbers are, they said in order for us to have numbers like that, those numbers are from 1994, 93.
Right.
So it's a time right now where, I mean, honestly, even if you try to help the young kids, the kids older than them are saying, man, F those cops, forget them, don't talk to those cops. Well, you a rat, you a snitch, you can't even sit and talk to a kid anymore because that's the first thing that comes out of everyone's mouth. It's tough. It's really, really hard. That's why I said I wouldn't recommend at this time for anyone.
And that's where the respect
That's
is
a good
lost.
point.
And it's like, it just like you said, it takes or it should take the OGs to gather the little young ones to go, listen.
Exactly.
Look, these dudes are out here to help us. There's just like, always got to go back. There's some bad ones, but the ones like you, man, it's like you're out there, because you go straight to the OGs and you try to get them to like respect these dudes because they're normal people.
Yeah.
And they're just out here trying to help us, protect us, and keep us safe. But if you guys are running around rampant, shooting people and robbing people and knocking grandmothers out for no reason, slicing faces, then
they sliced a 2-year-old little kid walking in the street. Come on.
Right. So it's like why should we protect you when you run to us when the cops are chasing you? Because all you doing is you're just not being respectful.
But
Here's
the thing.
You get where I'm trying to go? Yeah. So it's like,
100%, Chuck. Let me touch base on that real quick. I think that a lot of the times, so you have people that are generally, protesting, but then you got the knuckleheads jumping in the wagon, right? The cowards that break windows they have no idea what the point is. They just see, a bunch of people acting like freaking hoodlums and they jump on the wagon. They do stupid things like that, like hurt people and stuff like that. That's tough, right? To separate the two, right? Because you never know who's coming, which angle the person is gonna start acting up. Thank you. But that's a big problem. How do you separate the knuckleheads from the people that are generally, trying to make a point? And that's a task that I cannot even begin to take on, let alone understand. Like, that's tough, dude.
That's a great question, man. That's a great question.
At the same time, Manny, I've been to protests which were very organized, very respectful. They're just getting their point across. There's outside forces taking advantage of the passion and the hurt these people were feeling.
Yeah.
And, they would have agitators in there. They would show, I saw multiple videos, people paying people, break this glass, here's $200.
Yes. So let me ask you though, please, somebody here, can someone enlighten me? Excuse me being so naive. What's the force behind that?
So Manny, you know this, right? So there's always going to be these troublemakers that are just going to try and do anything to Pedro's point, right? They just want to incite just this instability because to them, they're pushing their agenda, right? Of this instability. And this is where I want to lead my next question, if I can, is, so we know, and there's been proof, right? You've said this, Pedro, right? We know that people will take situations like this where there is this movement which is about, raising awareness about all these injustice that is happening, not just on the police brutality, right? Which we see, but there's other areas which is also taking mainstream, right? Healthcare is also, things that we're talking about, discrimination at work, all of these other movements, right?
All correlated.
And then you do see, right? I think for the first time in this world, at least in my recollection, that this movement has gone global.
Yes.
Yeah, people in Germany, France, Tokyo, everywhere, right? That they were getting together because this is something that has been dealt with for quite some time. And thanks to, I'm sorry, not thanks to, but with the ability of having these recorded now, you actually have actual footage of the recording, it's causing this movement to start. My question is, how can we work together, including, your line of work, to make sure that the movement doesn't die, right? But then we take it to the next level where it's actually things are changing where they write new laws, where companies are reviewing or revising. Okay, maybe we need to start changing some of our, things that we did in the past to make sure that, okay, there's equality and, Eddie, your favorite word, equity, right?
Mhm.
How do we get to that stage, right? Because we're gonna. It's not the first time we've seen. We could go to Eric Garner, all the names. I don't want to go through all the names, right? But how do we get to the next stage, next level of making sure that, okay, enough is enough? And I'm saying I'm saying the exact same thing that they say on TV. Enough is enough. Let's move on. But we're saying it again.
Ray, the only way, honestly, I couldn't even answer that question. I have no idea. All I know is if how I behave, I hope I could change some people's minds. I can only control myself. I can't control too many other people. I can just control myself. So if I come across respectful, if I come across speaking to them, if I come across, compassionate with the situations they're going through, hopefully they put a human quality into the person wearing that uniform. All those reforms, that stuff, I mean, I don't even know what's going to happen with that. They want to change so many things, but since they started implementing all these changes, the crime has been insane. The shootings have been insane. Every day it's 9 to 10 people shot. So I don't know what it's going to end up, and who's getting shot. Who's doing the shooting? Who's getting shot, right? If you think about it. No one on Fifth Avenue is getting shot. No one in Soho is getting shot. It's everyone in the neighborhoods where we grew up in. Urban youth, young kids, 15, 16, 17 years old, that poor basketball player in the Bronx, bright future, scholarship, shot.
Yeah.
Life is so undervalued right now that it's a scary time to be a young kid in the city, man. It's a scary time. Nobody cares.
So you guys, Ray, if I may real quick, guys, for our followers, right? You're hearing it from a real brother, someone, a 20-year-old veteran in the force, right? A real person. And again, we're not, swaying anybody here, but just you make your own, right? You make your own ideas. Thank you. You're seeing it from this angle, right? A lot of times we don't get this, right? Someone that's been in for 20 years, a family man, someone, a war on the brother, and he's a real person. Like, this is not made up. This is,
with bad taste in your teams.
So, just make sure you always put this into content too, and think about that before you, disrespect a police officer or put them all in it's 36,000 cops in New York City, or give or take, right?
Yeah.
Think about the next.
That's only cops. That's not sergeants. That's not lieutenants. That's not captains. Yeah. So we're
just
about almost 50,000.
My point, yeah. So don't jump on the bandwagon. Again, educate yourself before you make those, think about hurting someone or doing something stupid, right? There's a lot of more other ways to get your point across. I know I can go deep into it, but please just consider that also, man.
All right, this has been a great conversation. Again, I really want to take some time to, again, recognize the effort and dedication of this young man here, because he's still very young, right? Pedro, very good friend of ours, right?
My knees don't feel that young, but all right.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember.
Yeah.
Wait.
My wheels when I get out of bed. I gotta warm them up. Make sure the oil's flowing.
Wait, now that you brought that up,
Uh-oh.
you recently had knee surgery,
Yeah,
right?
yo. I'm back, baby.
But
Yeah.
because he fell down the stairs.
Oh.
I fell down.
Oh, damn. I'm like,
I'm like, what happened? Like, damn.
Nah, I believe you're playing basketball, right?
Yeah. But I had heard it when I was in a motorcycle accident. I had torn my meniscus. I got hit by a van when I was in my younger days. And I had torn my meniscus, and I guess I never did anything about it because, you know, when you're young, you feel better the next day. And then finally it just came back.
yeah.
He said, finally, it just came back.
Because you know what's always there, right?
It was waiting. Yep.
Yeah.
But again, unless there are any further questions for Pedro, I would like to wrap it up. And again, thank this tremendous young man here
Yes,
who's
sir.
really given all he's got to the community and above and beyond, right? And that he's been very honest and very truthful. I know this conversation, at least for me, has been very, very, eye-opening and genuine. So again, I want to commend you, Pedro, for all the work that you've done and everything that you're going to keep doing. This is not going to be your only. I don't think it's going to be your only
Appearance on there.
appearance on this show.
Yeah.
So please make sure that in the future you do have some time for us, and then we'll bring you back.
Oh, man, it's going to open up a lot of people's mind on.
It does, man.
It give a different perspective on, you know, just the policing work that you guys do, man. Listen, because look, me growing up on the West Coast, everything it happens everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
And it happens everywhere, and you see the same thing, you know, just growing up, and man, it's hurtful just to see just the bad people out there,
Of course.
and knowing that there's good people, and just as a society itself, man, it's like our minds are just screwed up. We don't know which way to go. We don't have the guidance. We don't have
we don't have the love.
We don't have the love
enough to love and
that's
teach the kids. Listen, it's all right to do this.
That's the best word right there. The love is not there. The love is not there.
No.
And
Self-love too, for our community, for our people.
Yes.
Yep.
And if we had it from the higher people, which we empower, and it would be so much better. Episode 2, what is fear? Part 2.
Episode 1.
False evidence appearing real, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no, we got an episode fear to part 2. It's coming.
Yep.
Look out for it.
But you know what? Just mentioning fear, that's one thing that I would say that in your fields, you being a real person that you are, you don't fear.
Oh my God, you stole what I was going to say. Go on, Eddie. Go on.
Then go ahead. You know,
No,
Synergy.
Ray always wants to add. You go ahead, Eddie. You got
Look,
it.
man, no. I'm just kicking back, but I'm just listening to everything. You know, we did have a conversation. We had an episode where we were talking about fear, and I guess to be in the field that you're in, you can't have fear in working with people in the communities that you're in. And that's probably why you're so effective, because first you work with your heart. Of course you're defensive, because at the end of the day, you don't know what's coming at you. But I just wanted to make that point. You don't fear helping people in the communities that you're in. And that's probably why you're so effective in talking to, you know, to the OGs and breaking things down. And they're just like, you know what? The only difference is my man is just wearing a uniform. But other than that, he's just like us. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, you know, but yeah. I don't know if that was your point.
I'm going to add.
Go for it.
What I'm going to add is this.
Go for it.
All right. There's something about his mindset and people in his line of work, including armed forces, right?
Right.
They're cut differently. They are in the face of danger. And Pedro, you said this. You're not walking away. You're walking towards it.
Right.
That's just pause for a second and think about it.
He said running towards it.
Think about that, right? There's something in their fabric that says, you know what? Because that's not being selfish. That's
I have a responsibility. Yeah.
a responsibility, there's people behind me, community, whoever, that I put my life in danger for them. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I told you.
Above and beyond a paycheck, right?
Yeah.
It's your
So,
life.
right, there's something about that just untouchable. You just cannot compete with that. No way. You know, we sit behind desks and, you know, wherever we are, right?
Listen,
They have things coming their way every day, and I commend that, Pedro.
Listen, when he leaves
100%.
home every day, man, it's like you walk out the door, you know, you kiss your family and you go, I love you. And man, you just don't know is that if you're going to walk home, you know, walk back through that door, you know, that's tough, man. That's
a real X-Man. That's the real
man.
X-Man.
That's a real hero,
Seriously.
man. That's a real hero, man. You don't need
Actually,
a cape.
that's a good way of ending it.
Yeah,
That's a real hero, real
that's
life
a real
hero.
man.
You don't wear capes.
That's-
You don't wear capes.
Yeah, you don't need a cape. You don't.
Words are very appreciated.
Yeah, man. It's
You still owe me that beer, though, Pedro.
Got you.
You're right, and he's a Yankee fan. I'm just saying.
Listen,
I'm just saying.
Get together, man. I'll sit 6 feet from all of you guys. Let's just get together. I'll throw you a beer can, Manny.
Wow.
I'll throw it to you because they're all
Yeah.
distancing got
From
people.
far, 6 feet, right?
Yeah.
All right,
definitely,
fellas.
definitely, man. We just want to say thank you.
Yep.
Man,
Thank you.
This was so
Yeah,
blessed when we found out that
Thank you for wanting
agree-
to have me on this.
Oh man.
Oh, please.
Oh, this is just
We
the
were-
first one, my brother. Just the first
Yeah.
one.
I'll be
we
honest.
were ecstatic. You know, we were like, what? He agreed. So, and this is all we had been talking about since you agreed to it. So
Yeah,
we-
you're
we
the
were-
first.
we're-
You're our first guest.
No, you guys are the reason I agreed.
Yeah, man.
First of all,
thank you.
It's not like a stranger's asking me. You guys are my people.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I know
That's right.
I'm here comfortable. I'm with my other brothers.
That's right. That's
sir.
right.
I just met you today. I judge you the same as
Yeah,
them.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
Company you keep doesn't matter to me. Once you guys asked, Ray asked, everybody I had said no without hesitation. I told you absolutely, let's do it.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yep.
sir. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Still waiting for my PBA, though.
All right. All
Don't
right.
do SBA.
Yo, Ray, why don't you bring it home? Let people know how
That's
we
right. All right.
Let's
Thank
do
you,
it. There
Pedro. Thank
go.
you, brother.
Thank you.
Here's another episode. Thank you, guys. United Podcast.
Podcast show.
Subscribe and please leave us your comments. And then we'll get back to you. So, Pedro, thank you very much again. Pleasure to have you. First honored
Thank you for
guest.
having me.
Thank you, sir.
Yo, thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you.